Ever wonder what happens when a petty revenge accidentally becomes legendary? 8 years ago, I walked out a toxic relationship bruised, exhausted, and carrying the last pieces of my dignity in the back seat of my car. I thought I was leaving the worst part of my life behind. Turns out, the real story didn't even start until the day I put one tiny seed into the ground. I didn't know then that a simple act of spite, something so harmless I forgot it even happened, would grow into a revenge so powerful, so destructive, and so hilariously perfect that it would take over an entire house, an entire street, and maybe even my ex's sanity. This is a story of how my ex's yard became a feline festival of chaos, and why he still can't sell the house. If you ever wish that karma would show up loud, messy, and smelling exactly like a giant litter box, hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because this is one revenge story the universe wrote better than I ever could. 8 years ago, Cedar Falls didn't feel like home. It felt like a cage with nice curtains. I had been living with my then boyfriend Darren in a small blue house on Oak Ridge Lane. He owned the place. I only filled it carefully with plants, color, and too many apologies. By the end of our relationship, I wasn't just tired. I was shaking. The shouting, the slammed doors. The day he grabbed my wrist a little too tight, then tighter. Leaving wasn't a decision. It was survival. I'll be gone by Friday, I told him, my voice trembling but firm. He barely looked up from his laptop. Fine, take your plants. They're your hobby, not mine. Hobby. That word stung worse than any bruise. Those garden beds around the house? I had built them by hand. Sunset after sunset. Sweat dripping down my back. Soil beneath my nails. They weren't just decorations. They were the first place I felt in control. Still, I packed them up. My hydrangeas, my roses, my rare lilies. All except a few empty spots the roots left behind. Spots that felt like unfinished business. I was at Garden World buying large pots, stacking them into the cart with hands that still hurt from holding back tears. And then, I saw it. A little packet. Bright green. Cheap. Almost silly. Catnip seeds. I laughed. Actually laughed for the first time in weeks. I'd heard catnip was hard to grow, practically impossible unless conditions were perfect. I figured if I sprinkled it into the empty soil, maybe one plant would sprout, enough to annoy him. Maybe it'd attract a few neighborhood cats. Nothing major. A tiny, harmless, microscopic inconvenience. A souvenir of the pain he left on me. So I bought 6 packets. 6. Why 6? Because when you're heartbroken and furious, logic takes a personal day. That night, after moving the last pot into my car, I knelt beside the garden beds one final time. The porch light flickered overhead, and for the first time, I didn't feel small. I ripped open the packets and let the seeds fall like confetti on the ground that once felt like mine. Then I drove away. I didn't look back. Not once. A new apartment, a new job, a healthier heartbeat. Cedar Falls became a memory I didn't revisit. For 8 years, I didn't think of Darren or Oak Ridge Lane, or those seeds I sprinkled in the dirt like an angry Disney villain with low gardening skills. But life has a twisted sense of humor. Yesterday, 8 years later, I got a new client, Mrs. Rowley. Cute little house. Big smile. Needed help with her backyard. Follow me, she said. We'll pass Oak Ridge Lane on the way. My stomach flipped. I hadn't been back since the breakup. As I drove past Darren's old house, I saw it, a for sale sign. And the yard? Oh, my God. At least 6 cats were sprawled across the lawn like they were posing for a Renaissance painting. Rolling, rubbing, zoning out like they were at a cats-only Coachella. I slowed the car, jaw dropping. Mrs. Rowley chuckled. Poor guy, she said. He's had the worst luck with that house. Oh, I asked, innocent. That catnip infestation started years ago. The stuff grows like the devil's weeds. You can't kill it. Believe me, he tried. Every summer the whole end of the street smells like a litter box dipped in mint. I nearly crashed the car. She continued, blissfully unaware. He uses sprays, pulls it out, pays people to dig it up. But it always comes back. Worse. And now all the neighborhood cats practically live there. I swallowed hard. My petty revenge had gone nuclear. That night, I parked 2 blocks away and walked back to see it again, to see if my brain had exaggerated. It hadn't. The yard was a shaggy jungle of bright green catnip bushes, some nearly waist high. Cats were lounging on the porch, sleeping on the steps, wrestling in the flower beds. It looked like the final boss level of Nico Apocalypse. And then I saw him, Darren, stepping out, looking exhausted, swatting at yet another cat trying to sneak inside. He looked directly at the yard, hands on hips, defeated in a way I had never seen. And for the first time, I didn't feel fear, or anger, or regret, just peace. The garden that had once been my escape was finally fighting back, without me lifting a finger. I never intended for this to happen. My revenge was supposed to be tiny, a whisper, not a roar. But sometimes the universe takes one grain of spite and grows it into a forest of karma. I don't hate him. I don't want more trouble for him. But I won't lie. Knowing that something I planted with shaking hands and a broken heart ended up reclaiming that house, feels like the universe gave me back a piece of myself. If this story gave you even a hint of satisfaction, hit that like button. It tells YouTube you want more real, emotional revenge stories just like this. Comment below. What's the most unexpectedly perfect revenge you've ever seen happen in real life? And of course, subscribe for more stories where karma grows in ways nobody expects.